Honour Janza, your story starts from a little mining town on the copper belt of Mufulira. What would be the best way to start telling the story of Honour Janza?
Yeah, though there's always, thank you so much. But, you know, at times you may not find the best way to say this is my best way of how people can, or someone can describe me, but because life is a journey. It's a long journey. We come from far, very far as young boys. Then we come to a certain level of maturity, and then we come to this level. So I think Mufulira was part of my journey, long journey into my life. And as Honour Janza, born in Lusaka and in a family of footballing family, I've got 7 brothers, 2 sisters, 1 passed on. She was a referee, Mtinta Janza, and one of the footballers, Vespa Janza, was with Zamshu. Also started his career from Zamco Diggers. Myself, I started my career, of course, from school, community-wise, from Chelston community, and school-wise, far away in the northern province of Mporoko, so you'd imagine. It was good. It was good at that time to be in that area. I played my football career that side. It was also developed in that area. When I was at school, I finished my grade 12 there at Mporoko, so secondary school, and I crossed over when I came back to my family in Lusaka, and then I had another opportunity to visit one of my uncles in Mamba. Then there I found Zamco Diggers Football Club, just straight from school. So I saw this is another club. I tried to visit it, watch them, and then they had interest with me. And then they invited me to join them. And then I joined Zamco Diggers, but on a very short period. And then I think because of one of the 2 games maybe we played here, I think we played against that time it was NAPSA. By that time it was called
Profound Warriors.
Profound Warriors. They were big guys, the Makinkas, the Makinkas, and other guys. But I was still very young from school, so I think I made 1 or 2 movements that made some fans were excited. I think one of the fans were from Mufulira, so they followed my track. They followed me up to Mamba and then asked for me if I can cross over. By that time I was like, okay, Mufulira it has been a footballing town, and there was Mufulira Wanderers, so it was a big team. And at my age, I think I was like, this is just something like it's a dream. So I made a choice. To move, although it wasn't easy from Zamco to leave Zamco, because I was one of the potential young players that they were looking forward to drive the team. So I left, and I was welcomed in Mufulira. Mufulira was among the young intakes: Lieutenant Chilumba, Job Wadia, Paul Chela, Bob Tonchela, Philemon Chisala. I think that was my intake. They were coming from Kafilonda United. And so we did our debate. The late, may he so rest in peace, Harrison Chongo Wawa. That was our intake. I think that was the time we were competing with the late Kelvin Mutare from Nitrogen. That was the time. The Watiakenis, that was the intake from Power. He was moving, I think, from should be Chingola, coming to Power Dynamos. So it was during that time of our teenagerhood, trying to showcase into the big guys. I found great players, big players in Mufulira, so I was like, it wasn't easy. I found the Ifod Chavalas, may so rest in peace, Ashos Belu, the Mnailes of today, where the senior George Rwanda Minas, just to mention a few. So at the time, I think my coach, Akim Senge, was the coach at that time. He was very fatherly. I think I was almost the first player to come from outside. I think I was the first that time to break the ice. Most of them, they were born there. I think Kalusha was already gone to outside abroad, and the Charles Msonda, they had gone, Johnston, they had gone. So we just used to see them when they come on holiday. And then maybe they will come, they train with you, Central Sports, and then you see they show course. So for me, I think Mufulira was like my school.
Did you ever feel like this is too big? Too many big names, and this place is just too big for me, coming from little known Zamco diggers.
Absolutely. It was because I was very young then. I was like, okay. I never knew the magnitude of it when I was going there, because I was just like fished out from there because of those fans who were like happy with me. So when I arrived there, I was like, oh, this is a big river. But I was just all the time being encouraged. I can recall one of the best goalkeepers, Derek Katongo, was one of those that was coming from Strike Rovers to join Mufulira Wanderers before he left for Power Dynamos. He was one person who used to give me an encouragement. Sometimes I would say, I want to give up, to go back, but I said, oh, let's keep going. So you do see sometimes when the big guys like Yashos Melu, Ifo Chavala, Naile, and so forth, they are coming from the national team, then to come and join the main team. So you do see. But I got courage because also my colleagues like Jowadia, Tenan Chirumba, and those that were already born, branded from Mufulira, they would give me encouragement, would talk, would encourage each other, fight. We had to fight. It was not easy at our level, at our age, to break even. The least you could go is to be in the camp and on the bench, trying to that time, because that time it was just too much. It was a lot of talent. Those are just few that I've mentioned, but they were like Kenneth Chola. He was magician. Kenneth Chola was just too unique a player to watch. Sometimes I bleed when such players are unsung heroes. That's why in our history of football, there are players that have not been honored to deserve that. If you see what they did on the pitch, there are a lot of hidden players that have not been honored. And to me, I just say, okay, there's a room also for unsung heroes, unsung heroes. So there was such players, Kenneth Chola. He was young, but he would come straight from school. He would just come straight into the team, and you would see that every first 11 he has to be there. But he was young. But what he would do in the game, it's beyond his age. So we were also motivated with such players like Kenneth Chola, the late, until he moved to Nkana. Later on, now moved to Green Buffaloes, where he met his fate. But that's how magnitude Mufulira Wanderers was. It was quite a big team that you needed not only the technical ability on the pitch, but the strength of your mind as a young person. You needed to be strong mentally. So it wasn't easy, but at the same time, to me it was a pathway. It made me strong, and I learned a lot. It was like a football school for me, because I also because of the setup there. At that time there was SCCM tournaments. You'd play 7-a-side. You'd see players like Webich Kavala's character. You see those players like Modern Maitoli. In that setup of the tournament, a pre-season, they would make a pre-season under the SCCM. So you play maybe in Rwanda 7-a-side, and then you are a small boy. Then you see these big guys, the way they muscle, the way they play their football. So we would pick positives out of them, and it gave me a lot of courage. Of course, I think being at the level where I was, that's why at times it's difficult. Sometimes people ask, Janza, I'm Free Wanderers. It's because also my stay was first to be as a young boy, and then trying to fit in the main, and then when almost coming, it was now coming when professionalism now started coming in. There was now another shape of management. Now we were the first players to be to feel the restructuring of professionalism. We started receiving a white coach, Beasley, and so forth. So we started seeing change of management and so forth. Where now it was no longer like going for work, because that time we were also employed. May sorry rest in peace. Sir Zumunjov is the one who selected. We went through like trials again. So Sir Zumunjov came to do the trials in our intake. They picked myself, Bobton Chela, Pochela, Tenant, Derek Katongo. We used to call him Uncle Bejija. The other, I think, is still in Freda. So they picked us to employ us, and then became Free Wanderers players. So when it changed, it became now professional. So then they were saying they needed, I think, about 4 or 5 teams in the ZCCM. So there was Nkana, Power, Free Wanderers, Nchanga, Konkola, Blades. I think there was that time there was also Mtondo, Western Times, where there was Edmond Mumbas and the likes. So there was a bit of competition. I think 2 teams were not supposed to go if there was a ranking. So we were fighting for that ranking again, I remember. I think the furthest I went was to be in camp with the team. I think the other, it was when you find yourself there in the camp of Free Wanderers, the big guys, count yourself to be something else. So
tell me something. And the old man in you now, yeah, and the young man in you,
exactly.
What do they say to each other? Did you feel unfairly treated? Weren't you given a real opportunity to really mess it up, or it was just this place was too big and you agree even today, many years later, that, well, it was too big a place for you?
Yeah, I think that despite the fact that it was too big a place, but by the fact that the decision was made that we needed to buy this player, that was enough message for me that they were satisfied, and I was able to swim there. So what transpired now was that at the end of it, I was selected among the players that will be recruited, and then the system management decided to go and buy me off from Zamco, which was not a cheap amount. I think we went with that time. I think those that you remember back, there was the first FIFA referee, Jere, Mr. Jere was the first FIFA referee. He's the one who we went with to Mamba with the ZCCM vehicle to go and clear myself from there. And he was given an open check. He was given directives, whatever amount.
Come back with him.
Whatever amount. So
that's your happiest point.
That was my happiest
just to have merited the idea of just wearing the green and white.
Absolutely, which showed me that then I had a life in football. It gave me a lot of belief in myself when they just told me that, oh, look, you have passed and you have been selected, and then you have been offered. I was even offered employment. I was working under human resource, and then I was cleared through a very, not an easy purchase, because it took again another almost 2-3 hours in Mamba just for the MD to release me from Zamco. So it was tough, whereby even my uncle who was keeping me there was almost facing some challenges by people were saying maybe it's the one who is selling me, you know, such things. But that showed me that so this football can go this level. But as I was also pushing, it was not easy to push into best 11, to start in the best 11, but would sit on the bench and whatever. There was one game that made a decision to leave. It was against Buffaloes at Matelo. I was on the bench. So I expected, we were losing that game. I think Free Wonders were down, should be 2-0 or 1 or 3-0, somewhere there. And then I could see someone was playing on my position as a striker. I was like, I wouldn't mention the name, but I would see that if I can go in, and I was ready, and I was seeing the coach looking at me now to make a decision.
No, you can mention,
yeah,
it's fine. You are all retired by the way.
We were competing with the players like Lucky Manda. He was very good, but he, unfortunately, may his soul rest in peace. He died once when he was in Botswana. He made his, those were our good guys, our big boys, as strikers. So he would miss a chance, and then chance would come, he misses. So I was like, I think here now, this will be my chance.
I can play.
Yes. And then the game ended. I did play, we lost. But that was not the only one. The other one was against Zanaco at the Woodland Stadium, where we crashed. The jerseys we crashed. I was on the bench. I think that time Mr. Marsha was in the commentary. And then I think Simata, I think they were managing Lusaka, city of Lusaka, and son to Kenneth Kaunda, I think Panji. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they came to our aid, the city of Lusaka, because Zanaco, they knew Munaide by that time he has crossed from Mfuria Wanderers to Zanaco. And then we were playing them, and then it was an important game. So they played psychologically, he played us. So they had a similar jersey that we had.
What color was it?
It was green.
Zanaco green?
Yes, it was amazing. They had it green. I'm sure they still, if you meet him, you ask him, he'll tell you, yeah. It was a green, same jersey with the Maite. So we crashed. It took almost 30-40 minutes trying to please, because we had only carried one color jersey, green. So it was difficult until city of Lusaka came to our aid. They gave us that jersey. Their jersey,
black and white.
Imagine, we were in black and white, and then Zanaco was in green. It was very. But the game went on, and I was on the bench again. That's the game again. I was like,
I can play.
Yeah, and then but it was tough, but we won that game. But that one, okay, since we have won, I was like, okay. But that one with the Buffaloes, when we lost, I went back, I just made a decision. When Zesco came, they came to me, look, we want you, and the ABCD, blah. I said, okay. But Zesco at that time, I didn't know, at that time, I was supposed to move with Harrison Chongo. But Harrison Chongo had gone to under 20 with Fred Muller, under 20. So when he was supposed to come with me, I finally made that decision that, okay, I think now let me just find a club where I can be in the first 11 at all cost. I just have to be in the first 11 because I felt now I think the time is right for me. And we decided as young guys, Tenant, Harrison Chongo, I think Kenneth Chola, Joe Wadia. I think Joe Wadia, that's the time he left for Belgium. Tenant went to Strike Rovers in Ndola. Kenneth Chola went to Nkana. Then I left for Zesco. I left for Zesco United. They were in Division 1, so I didn't mind.
You didn't mind because you were desperate to play?
I just wanted to have my 90 minutes.
Now, talking about 90 minutes, you got plenty of it at Zesco United. 1993, you win the Golden Boot under Coach Mtonga. Just recount that moment for us.
Yeah, it was quite uninteresting for me because when I joined Zesco United, the first year was a bit challenging, 91, 92, 92, 93. Then the 92 one, when we qualified to Super League, I became the main man. The main man. So I was scoring almost in every game. I was scoring in every game. If I miss a game, it was like I would even feel it like it's not me. I was scoring in every game, and and I became the top scorer, I think, with about 40 something, 42, 45 somewhere goals. But I'm sure Zesco, there must be some history where players like Collins, Simutowes, those they can remember. I also remember, but I became the top scorer, and then we qualified the team.
Can we just compare the two playing styles? At Shinde, now you are Zesco United. What were the principal differences? It's because, yeah, you hadn't played 90 minutes for a long time.
I think the only difference was that the quality of players at Shinde were just, there was quality and there was quantity. Okay, so it was not easy. The coach would want to use you, but you find that if he looks all of you, you are almost making it. You are almost good players. Yes, good players. And then there was also, that time you would also wait to say, okay, this one is an elderly person, this one is still young, is upcoming. They'll give you time, but because of, when you are still young, sometimes patience is not there. You still feel, I can also fight the big ones. I want to showcase. So we didn't just have patience to stay and wait for the big guys to do it for us until the time when it should come. But when I went to Zesco United, there was quality, but the quantity of quality was minimal, so much that it was easy for me to be counted among the quality. So if they count the 11, I was among the best 11, so I would make it all the games. So I think that was just the difference, because clubs like Mfria Wanderers, everybody wanted to go there. And not only that, but Mfria Wanderers used to develop its own players. So it had a lot of players developed within Mufulira, and because of the ZCCM programs that was developing programs from the youth level, so there was a bigger pool of selection of players. So for a person coming outside to go and swim there and survive, I give myself a merit, because one other thing is that which made me an honor if you go there was that in my first being at Mufulira Wanderers, I was also honored to be the most disciplined player among the first awards that were 5 awards that were given for the annual awards they do give. I was privileged to be given an award which was amazing, because I was among the big guys. The awards were for Ifo Chavala, Ashos Melu, big guys. I think George Randamina got one, and there were 5 awards. The most top scholar, I think Pochela got one. And when it came to most disciplined, I didn't believe when my name was mentioned by the general manager of ZCCM. And then I got that award at my age and at that time. So
did the move from Maite to Zesco cost you national team football when you look back?
Okay, when I look back, somehow yes and no, because at that time, the decisions, even to go to the national team, most of them were influenced in Mfulira, because Mfulira was like the father and mother of Zambian football. I saw a lot there. Even all the jerseys for the national team, I could see them. Even the lineup, before it could come in the media, I would know in Mfulira. I would know this one, the team will be called this ABCD.
What kind of power?
It had too much, Mfulira had too much power in the...
People of influence.
Yes, in the Zambian football. But the positive influence. You look at people like Ifo Chawla, he had influence, even for the who should be called to the national team and whatever. But
because of Sajum Zoom?
Zoom also made that contribution. But like I said, it was positive, not in the negative. They very much valued winning. At Mfulira, losing was a crime. So they valued so much winning, and they made sure that if they ask you to join them at the national team, you must be excellent. You must be beyond exceptional.
Tell me something. Dick Chama calls you after the Gabon disaster, and because it was tough, national team, you had the Charles Msondas, the Kalus, the Malazas, and then after the team crashes on the coast of Gabon, all of a sudden, everyone else who wasn't being looked at could be looked at, but you received one call-up by Dick Chama. What was the conversation before you reported for camp?
It was amazing. It was like, you know, at that time, if you are just your name appearing on the newspaper, or to be mentioned that you have been called to the national team, it was so unique. It was like it's a Christmas day. It's like it's your birthday. It's something else. You know, it was big, something big for me, especially coming from a team like the Zesco. And then you have been picked alone to go to. Everybody was like looking at you like, you know, they lift you high they look at you like they are king or something. And to make matters worse, that time the football association minibus, Mr. Bulaya, by that time, you would drive all the way. You pick players from Kitwe. They will say, okay, we meet you at Edinburgh. Then you pick players in Indola and so forth and so on. So imagine at that time when I was picked, it came at our flats in Indola. And you'd imagine a national team minibus parked outside
waiting for you.
That's what happened. And I don't know, I think because it was my first time to be called to the national team, so they knew that maybe I didn't know where to meet and so on. So it came outside, and everybody by the flats, they had to come out, say, going for you know,
going for national duty.
Yes. It was so nice. It was nice. It was good. I think that's the time from Copper Belt. I can remember there was Mwape Miti, there was Fraser Kamwandi, there was myself. Unfortunately, there was Francis Litana. He broke his leg at Musaka Sonka when he was supposed to also to join the national team. So it was so sad a time. Actually, it was so sad for him. And we camped. I remember that camp. It was a review. It was a preparation. In fact, the rebuilding had already taken place in Holland. I missed that one, but my brother went. Honour Janza was there. I think they went in Holland. But this time it was a continuation of the already rebuilt, and then call out of additional manpower. So we were called as additional manpower to join the squad. I remember that time we camped in Kawe. We camped in Kawe in preparation for the same game. But unfortunately, that game was cancelled. I think it was still raising issues of how our team perished, how did they were. So there was a issue.
And it was against Gabon.
It was against Gabon, and they were supposed to fly to Gabon. I think so, but there was issues of security. You know, it has just happened, and this and so forth, until it was aborted. The game. The game was aborted, and then we broke camp. We went back. I went back to my Zesco.
Were you hopeful, or
coming
it
back?
was just shattered now? Like
it was okay. I was still hopeful because it was not like because you have been dropped or whatever. No, it was because of the game was aborted. Then I went back. I said, okay, I'll wait for another chance. But that is time now. We're in the. I think we were in the Super League. As Zesco United, we were in the Super League. So as I was waiting, unfortunately, my knee, I started developing the knee. Water started building in my knee. It also started affecting me at the club and so forth. Because in 2000 in that time, in the Super League, when the games just started, the Super League, I was among the top scorers. I was among the top scorers. I would lead the chart in the Super League because I used to score almost every game, even in the Super League. I remember the game that was a bit quite attractive and very tense at Cabo Warriors.
Talking about that, I'm wondering, in the Janza household, that rivalry, Vespa the dribbler,
yeah,
Janza the finisher, Honour Janza the finisher.
Yeah. So it was very interesting.
Did your brother challenge you?
Yes.
Was Was this somebody say I'll be better than you? Watch this
Yes,
space.
because he was looking at, he's my young brother, so he was looking, I was a role model to him because I was ahead. So they would hear me, oh, going to Mfrida Wanderers, like this. So my family supported me. So he was the only one who stood up, saying, oh, I want to do what he has done. Even today he speaks the same. So I want. So he was like, I'll even go beyond. So even when because when he was identified, it was in Mamba, when Zambia was supposed to play Sudan. So the camp was designed for Mamba. And the national team camped in Mamba. So they played Zamco Diggers. So that's when they saw him. Harrison Chongo, when he came to Mfrila, he was just telling me that, your brother is just...
It's magic.
It's magic. You know, his language. To pick you know, something like that. Okay. So later on, we just learned as a family that, oh, he has been chartered to join the rebuilding team. I think they left together with Tenant Chiromba to go and join the building team in London. So we just, oh, he has gone. So him was like that. Even that's why even at Zamshu, he made a very big impact, and to the level where he was one of the first professionals to go to China with Sidin Mambwe, but he was the first one. Then Sidin Mambwe the name will come. The assistant technical director at Football is Kalande. They went to China. They were the first players in Zambia to go to China, to break into China league. So that's how he was. And unfortunately, again, is that he also was out of action because he had a tendon cut when they were playing Continental. Zamshu was playing Continental during the Continental. By that time, I think he had even an invitation to Europe, one of the big clubs in Europe. Then he, despite that the invitation had come, he had an invitation, but the tendon cut him off from the pitch.
How did you interpret it personally? Your knee, his tendon.
Yeah.
Maybe the Janzas are not for football. Did you ever think that?
Yeah, but we didn't think in those lines. We just thought sometimes you face challenges like that in another nature. Others believe in before I was more into Christian life, I would just say bulosh. You know, you brush it off, buloshi and whatever, then you know that. But after becoming a Christian, I just forget about it. Maybe sometimes your life, it can be paid off in another way. This one stops, maybe to just introduce you and so forth. So there were a lot of things coming out, but we just say, okay, it happens. You crash. Sometimes there are a lot of good footballers, great stars that have crashed on the way, either by injury, whatever. I've seen like in Ndola, we used to have Kalizamanis, we used to have, you can see even Kalusha at one time, his leg was broken. We thank God he had to come back. So at times you may not come back. Sometimes you get an injury and maybe you are surrounded with medical staff who are not very good to mend that injury. Then you are ruled off. Look at John Barnes, his knee, he had to, you know that. So football, you cannot say maybe you are not called. It just happens maybe suddenly because of the wind will hit you coming from nowhere, and then maybe from your own forefathers, or
yeah.
you don't.
Let's talk about you on the touchline. I'm sure many people who now know the name Honour Janza know it from the touchline. Let's talk about the journey to the touchline. How did it all start? And I'm also tempted to begin that conversation when the Dutch Football Federation, KNVB, made you one of the people that identified in Zambia for training.
Yeah. So when my knee could not take me on the pitch again, my heart was still bleeding to continue. My management as Zesco United decided to start building me up into the coaching. So I started very young. I think some of the few coaches that are still around are Chris Gaza, the new team manager for Zambia national team now,
Desmond
Mugawa, were one of my few guys who were almost young, fighting in the rivers of big fishes. And to coaching, we found big guys. So the Patrick Piris, the Smarters, the Bamchiles, the Phaeton Simukondas, and other Fred Millers, the Boniface Mutoes. They were still there. So there was a course here. That time I was like still limping, but now they started using me like coach player at Zesco. So I was like learning the ropes through Chris Mutonga, the late, who did a lot in my career. So I was like player, coach. So they sent me here. I think one of the first coaching course that was here for the Dutch. First it was under Posen for the Germans. I think it was the Germans. Posen was there. So I did well. I think I had a good results amongst maybe the top 2 or 3 that time, because that one was more well subjected to even exam. So I did well. So from there, I think my record started appearing in the football house about coaching potential, and then I was being supported by my club at Zesco United. By general secretary was very good. The late Kapata Moyo, this is the records for him as a general secretary, good general secretary. So he supported me. So I had to put hands on. I said, okay, in football I won't leave. I can't go with my leg on the pitch, but I think there's another way. So I had to put my hands on when I was motivated that I did well in coaching, exam and whatever, and even on practicals, everything. So, and the big guys used to support. So the KNVB came as well. They did almost similar course. And then I was picked again among the 4. It was Bamfchile, Honour Janza, Agre Chiangi, and Chris Chivoye. I think, yeah, should be 4 from the same big guys. Now at that time I was also still a bit youngish, but I was building my muscle. So that's how the Dutch now started also taking my name into the Dutch and also at the football. So from there they said, now after this course, you guys, the 4 of you, you are not breaking. We are taking you to Livingstone. Now here you are being trained. I think it was an instructor's stroke coach stroke instructor's course. So they were looking at you as a coach and also as an instructor to them. So we didn't know. So because they would give you topics where you have to go in front, try to explain maybe the systems. So them they are looking at you as the coach and also as an instructor. So that's how they picked 5 of us. So we went, 4 of us, we went. I think Agre didn't make it. He said, okay, he had the exam, I think at CBU. So he said he excused himself, he left. So the 3 of us left, Chris, myself, and Bamfchil, to Livingstone. There was a course, they organized the course, then they told the 3 of us to manage it as instructors. So we were being observed by the Dutch. So from there, and that's when they left, the Dutch left. They didn't tell us the results. To them, I did very well. I didn't know. So from there they picked me. They sent an invitation for me at Football House to say we need Honour Janza into Kenya, in Nairobi. There's a coaching course under KNVB. So he's among the trainee instructor. It was shocking. It was shocking. I think that time there was the acting general secretary, Mr. Kasolo, Anton Kasolo, is the one who said, you're supposed to be, the way, you're supposed to be traveling. Oh, okay, I think in Musak. So that he took me to Faz, did everything, and then gave me my DM. Then I left for Nairobi, Kenya. I landed there. I didn't know the magnitude, because when I landed there, I was surprised to see the Dutch white guys waiting for me there at the airport. Then they carried me, we went there, and then okay, this blah blah, this course. And then we did a course of 2 weeks there in Nairobi. under the Dutch. So they got all my assessment again. It was assessment. They went back. I came back. Then after some time again, I think in 2000 and should be 2008, 7, 8, somewhere there. Again, they sent another invitation to go to Holland to go and do the 2 weeks one, the 2 weeks course. That's the time I went with Enala. I think Enala was coming from the women's side. Yeah, I think he was being groomed from the Kalusha Foundation by that time, but under the women football. So we were in the same trip, same class in Europe, and in Holland. That is East. We were about, I think, about 25 different countries, from different countries. I think there were only 2, Kenya and Zambia from Africa. The rest were the Germany. I think we did very well according to the results again. It was evident known, especially the practicals. When I did my practicals, I came out, it's like I saw a lot of positive. Enala told me, this instructor was asking, who is this one? It's like he was very happy, so I knew. So on the record, I was, I think, among the best, whether it's 2 or 3, among the best. And that was a follow-up. Their report from Holland, it came to us again, I think it was 2009, calling me again to go and do my U. That's how I qualified to do my UEFA B under the sponsorship of both the FAS, my government, and the FIFA, I mean, and the Dutch. I think there was a government relationship. There was that provision, and through the football. So they offered me, say, oh, look, this person, his results are so overwhelming. We recommend that he goes for the UEFA B, for another class, because the 2 weeks one, they classify it like UEFA C. It's the beginners, it's the entrance, so that's where they scrutinize. So I qualified, they called me. So I went and they did that's how I went to do my UEFA B there. And it was 6 months, very intense. You have to do about 20 match analysis. You have to drive, you have to go to watch PSV, big games at night, come back, do the reports. Very intense, every day. It was like every day. Then that's when my mind opened. I saw another world of football. So I said, so this is football now. I think that erased my belief in juju. I saw the real football, that it's in the science of learning. So
I'm just thinking now, the player in you, I'm sure now you're now thinking, if I had a coach that had the knowledge that I have today, is it something that you thought about?
Of course, yes. I realized that. I was even thinking, was my knee out of lack of knowledge of how to condition players? Because sometimes as old players, we used to be subjected to very beyond physical exercises just to make you fit. There was a belief that you have to do a lot of frog jumps, a lot of press-ups, a lot of running, a lot of jumping, even on hard surface, even without considering what shoes. Because the knowledge of football will tell you that if you are training, let's say, for example, on this artificial, there's a certain shoes you have to put on, which will go into coordination with the body, so that you don't develop any injury. So I still believe that if such knowledge was also there, but okay, at that time they had also their own knowledge, but in comparison, you can make some comparisons, but I just believe that education in coaching, in football, is key.
Tell me something, moment of truth, name and shame, say the truth and shame the devil. Would you therefore say that your background in Zambian football, and Zambian football as you knew it was ravaged with juju, no belief of football as a science, it was juju was the magic that made Zambians play football?
Yeah, because unfortunately we came...
Is that a big yes?
Yes, because it was normal. In the Zambian football in those times, it was a normal way. If you don't have that, they'll even be surprised. How can you play Yakuchech? And you have to be, everybody had in the Christian world, they say he has a prophet. like those kings in those days. They had prophets who would tell them their dreams, who would tell them. So I think as we made it in another version, instead of having a prophet, we used to have ngangas. You have your own nganga. Sometimes you have 3, 4, 10 of you. You go to one nganga, 10 club. They know them, and these ngangas, they even knew their clubs. So it was like a normal thing.
Would you actually say, were you ever made to seek consultation from a nganga, or did the teams you played for ever use a nganga? Or just what was it?
The only team that did not personally subject me to juju was the Mfreya Wanderers. Mfreya Wanderers, it could do its own magic out with maybe bigger guys, selected people, big guys, but it would not come to us as young boys.
Junior.
No. They could. I never saw it, and I was not ever subjected to it. That okay, you have to do this, you have to take this, you have to do no.
But you were aware of it.
But I was aware that every game was protected, but by not God, but with our small gods, it was protected. We would know. We would see certain things, certain activities, certain movements, certain rules. We will know that this rule is governed by this belief. So we'll know and we'll follow it. But the events will not come to you as a young boy, say, we'll give you this. No. It was for the big guys who protect the team. Yours is to say, if they say 10 to the left, you have to 10. 10 to the right, you have to 10. So that was enough for you as a player. But
if the team lost and you broke one of the rules that the nganga gave,
they'll chew you. I don't think you ever see yourself
anywhere near the team.
I think you would have shot yourself in your leg. You would have caused an injury, an artificial injury. It was everybody, because it will be on you. They'll just film on you. From the preamble, I told you that Mfreya Wanderers never wanted to smell a lose. So they were so conscious about losing a game. Losing a game in Mfreya, the whole town would be sick. And they could not believe that Mfreya has lost. That's why you see that it was a team that made a lot of honors, because like other teams like Nkana and Mfreya, these teams never wanted to smell something to do with a loss. No. You go play against Nkana, it's a heavy game, because Nkana also would want to get it at all costs. And these were big teams, the two of them. So I would remember the other time when Gentile was talking to Joe Ward. I think Joe Ward was like, he was sent as a young boy, go and inspect Nkana. He was told, too young, just go back. Go and ask, you have another Kalamba back to Minebes. But you know, Joe, he came back, coach. So,
because of the juju dimensions.
Beliefs, okay, it was big. But it was that time. But it was that time. But when I came to Zesco United, it was so open again to maybe it's because we became senior as well. So I would see it. Sometimes the whole team would be told to go and bath in the bathtub. Just maybe 13 hours, just after your lunch, you have to go through the chairman's house. Go and there's in the tub, go bath yourself. Don't even use the bath towel, just go put on your jersey in the bus. From there straight to the stadium. That's how much juju was.
How much? So juju has had a stronghold. Now, tell me something. And this is an undeniable fact. So Zambian players, very talented. Zambian football has even gained a reputation world over that, well, Zambians can play. Out of 10, if we added or removed the juju, what would remain of Zambian football those days?
In my understanding is that maybe the only effect that came, because negative effect that came out of juju, is the end result of our players. If you have seen most of our players, you cannot speak of anything out of them. I think the juju aspect has got very bad ending. And like just see somebody who is just because we are different. I think our friends, I don't know, but in Europe you find that a football player of yesteryears, if you look at him in Europe, is somebody you can talk about, is even, you can say, okay, you can even still admire his lifestyle and how he's staying. Maybe he's even amassed the wealth. But I think the contract or the contracts that are entered with the juju, I think at the end of it they rob the wealth of that
the
person.
players.
Yeah, because If you have seen, you will play very good play football because
Make a lot of money too.
a lot, but that money will not be invested. It will not see you even after your career, and I think it has got an attachment. Maybe this is a convenience. I don't know, but I just see.
So, in your personal opinion, it's not even about players not knowing that they need to invest. It's about this juju covenant.
They know that they need to invest, but if this is, I think when you do that, you don't know what now that Nganga is doing after you do those things. Maybe he's calling your money. There's a covenant there that, oh, his wealth will still come back to me, or it will go somewhere or something like that. Because if I look back, try to see, oh, great players. We used to say great players and whatever in our time. Today, if I look at them and then try to see who is standing today, it's a sad story. It's a sad story.
The belief of Juju.
Yeah, the belief of Juju was just too much, but it was just too much at that time. I think for me, I saw it so much at Zesco when I was playing. I saw it too much. It was just our everyday. It was our everyday, but I could see positive and negative results and so forth and so on. But it erased in my mind after I came back from Holland.
Let's talk about erasing. 2009, you are given the under 20. Let's call it Juju-free practicals now.
Yeah.
Because you manage the whole process.
Yeah, I think having come back from Holland doing my UEFA B, I think the knowledge that I gathered there was enough to erase my old beliefs. Because like I said, when I went through that 6 months, I saw the opening. I could analyze the game. I was too, and it provoked me so much that my ambitions were too stronger than other beliefs. So when I came back, alas, I was given, because there is a recommendation. When you finish at that level, you have to practice. So, and fortunate and whatever, there were two things awaiting for me, which I didn't know. Even when I was going to Holland, I didn't go to Holland to come and become a technical director. No, I went to Holland for purely coaching. But it was a coincidence. When I was doing there in Holland, I could hear my friends like Tenant would send me, would talk on phones. Here there's an instruction for FIFA that FA must have a technical director. And from the look of things, the requirements, they are just directing to you because they're saying someone should have the highest qualification in the coaching hierarchy and so forth. And since you are coming with a UEFA, it's just you and the president. So meaning the president can't be taken. So you be prepared for taking. Meaning
Kalusha, because Kalusha is the only other player at the time, or person who had a UEFA badge.
Exactly. So I said him cannot come back as technical director. So which means it's you. So I was like, what is Tenant was talking about? I didn't see it that way. So, but when I came, then okay, now results, everything, they sent the recommendation, and then so among the recommendation, you must practice. So that's how the FA appointed me. I think I came back in it should be June, July, August, somewhere, September, somewhere. Then in November, December, there's this COSAFA. So October, I think there I was given the team. I said, okay, you have
by Kalusha. What was the conversation? And by the way, sorry to take you back to Mfurira. Another person from Mfurira approaching another person from Mfurira. Okay, let's do this. How did it all happen?
I think it's just like I was saying, you know, the Mfurira people, it's the way they look at football. They look at football in the positive. They dream football, they speak football, they talk football, they eat football. If you bring people like Charles Msonda here, Johnston Boadia, whatever, they will speak, or Joe Boadia, everybody will, them football is just the way some people look at, maybe if you look at your profession as a journalist and so forth, that's how they look at football. So when he was coming to me, having been given the perimeters of who should do this, who should be where. Okay, so he looked at it and then he said, okay, and he believed that this is football, and for them, there were some few issues that came when I was appointed as a head coach for under 20 in 2009. The few issues that happened was when I came back, they told me, okay, Janza, you are going to be appointed technical director, but not immediately. So there was a German consultant who came in Zambia. So they said, you'll be under this German consultant to run you for 1 year, for 6 months. 6 months. So before we appoint you, because FIFA has given instruction that a ruling that come 2010, all FAs who wants to enjoy the FAP money, the development money, they have to have a technical directorate under a technical director. So now Zambia were like, who is going to do that? And then they had put the requirements, which you must have one of the highest qualified among the coaches in the coaching and the other things. So okay, so that's when they said, I think by then the executive and Kalusha as the executive decided to say, okay, since Janza is already, let's see, I mark him. So 2009, I was being I-marked and trained, and at the same time I was given to practice, to coach. That's why I was given under 20. Now, my mentor, he had to raise his hand. He said, no, you cannot give him the under 20. This person is being I-marked as technical director. And if you give him under 20 to COSAFA, if he fails, these coaches in Zambia, they will not believe in him as a TD. And he had a point. That was live. It spoke to me. So, I saw sense in that. We had to go to the General Secretary, by then Mr. Kasengere. He spoke to him, said, listen, this person you are giving this is the situation. And this is, if he fails, this is what is going to come out. So the GS said, I think you have a point. He lifted the phone, calling the president. I think that time he was out of the country, Kalusha. And then the feedback was that Kalusha just said, who has never failed in life? Who has never failed? I could hear him. Ask Janza, who has never failed in life? Let him go. Let him take it. Forget about that. He will still do it. So
you didn't have a direct conversation with Kali. It was just them.
It was administrative. It was coming as administrative. Kalusha will not talk to you straight, but he will talk to you through his system.
What conversation did you have with him? Because this is UEFA meets UEFA.
Yeah, he was like, look, Janza, you are just coming from Holland. You have done your UEFA. You have to practice. You have to ensure that you put your knowledge on the ground. We need that knowledge. The purpose of us taking you to Holland is to come and bring that knowledge and apply it to Zambia. So your starting point, for me, I feel that go on the pitch, apply that knowledge on the pitch. Let's see how it helps us. We thank God it helped us. It helped us a lot.